Ladies and gentlemen, today XD has allowed us to watch the ranking every single Juggernog location in Call of Duty Zombies. So ladies and gentlemen,
ranking every Juggernog location. And coming in at the bottom of our list today, we have got Transit.
Yeah, I agree with this one. Transits is pretty bad. And it's kind of crazy because they don't really do this anymore. Treyarch doesn't really manage to put Juggernog in an unsafe location like they did back in the day.
When you've got a map's layout that's in the state that Transit's layout is in, it's kind of inevitable that Transit's going to find itself at the bottom of our list. I mean, seriously, this layout is just a complete disaster.
I mean, Town, you could argue, is literally just designed for the Pack Bunch machine, Stamina Up, and Juggernog. That's literally it. And sometimes the mystery box.
Disaster. They really should have had it so that Power was at maybe the first stop and then had Juggernog at the second or third bus stop. Instead of having it in some back ass corner of the town, which just happens to be about as far away from anything else that you could possibly get on the map.
It makes sense for town,
first of all, Juggernog's location within the town is already pretty diabolical. I mean, it is right in the corner.
And the fact that you have to buy a whole door for it as well, so it doesn't mean that 2,500 points is enough. I think you actually need like 3,300 just to get Jug on this map. It's insane. That's why they got the bank though
of this room. And if you happen to get trapped, there is no escape path for you. You are absolutely screwed. And second of all, because there's no wall weapons or really anything else like that in town, training or camping here is kind of off limits. So what that means is that in the later rounds, you're obviously going to be training or camping somewhere else on the map. And if you happen to go down, you are going to have to go on the ultimate mission just to get Juggernog back again.
You got to think about it. Like, Jug is positioned in a place on Transit where it's the very last location that the bus goes to instead of bus depot. And then also it's at the very back corner of the very last position. That's where Jug is. I mean, yeah, Transit's definitely the worst.
And so when you sum up all that, there really is nothing going for this Juggernog location at all. And ultimately, that's why it finds itself at the bottom of our list. Coming into the number 18 spot on our list today, we have got Moon. Now, I have two problems with this
I agree with this one.
The first one, which is the obvious one, is that Juggernog and Speed Cola share the same spot. And so what that means is that you're only going to get Juggernog every second time you go to Area 51. So
I will say on Black Ops 3, it's not too bad because you can just pop like some sort of perkaholic or on the house just to get Jug back. But on Black Ops 1, my gosh, if you down... it's practically over if you're not constantly cycling the Pack-a-Punch spot.
So if you happen to go down whilst it's on a speed cola rotation, you are going to have to head to Area 51 twice just to get Juggernog back. And ultimately what that means is that you are going to either go down or get a game over in the process.
And for high rounds, that could be bad. And then the Spaceman could be in the doorways while you're running through. It's just rough, man.
Second of all,
Moon's not an easy map.
Location in Area 51 on the sort of teleporter pad thing can be a little bit tricky. I mean, it is right in the corner of this little spot, and because the zombies are so fast in Area 51, you can easily get trapped here if you're not careful enough, which has happened to me a few times, unfortunately.
And then also, if you need speed cola when you come back, you have to go again, right? Like, I agree. Moon's Jug location, I would even argue, could be worse than Transit. At least Transit's is always there, you know?
Although, if I had to say one good thing about this Juggernog location, it is the fact that you can buy it before round one even starts.
Very true.
Which is obviously very helpful, but I don't think that comes anywhere close to overriding the other issues that I have with it. And so ultimately, Moon finds itself at the number 18 spot. All right, coming into the number 17 spot on our list, we have got Garrod Crovey. Now, my problem with Garrod Crovey...
I feel like Garrod's Jug is like in the central part of the map. You know, it's pretty close to the shield. I will agree, though, it's kind of far because it's at department store.
Actually has nothing to do with the location of Juggernog on the map itself, but more so the area that Juggernog is located in. So this room has got to be one of the smallest and most cramped rooms in all of Zombies.
Basically, I mean, there is closet.
barely enough room in here to outstretch both arms, let alone fit a Juggernog machine in here. I mean, it is not too bad on the early rounds. You can kind of just manage the zombies and then pick the right time to go in and buy Juggernog. If you're having to go down on the later rounds, it can be quite a nightmare going in there, buying Jug, and
again, Black Ops 3 does have that thing where you can just get it from the perks or from the gobblegums, I mean. But yeah, it does kind of suck that Jug is in such a bad spot, especially if you're bringing a train of zombies in there.
Getting out through the tight doorways before the zombies start piling in. And there is absolutely no escape route if you're having to get trapped as well. I really think with Juggernog spots like this, they should put in something like an escape slide or an escape path
but you know they
in
never
case
will.
you do happen to get trapped.
It's funny because like even the Cold War Jug spots, like in D Machine, Jug is just right in the middle of the open. Like you can never down by going for Jug. But in these games, they were ruthless.
Like 500 points or so. So at least then you don't have to stress so much when you're just trying to buy Juggernog. But because that obviously does not exist on Gorog Crovey, it's just going to have to stick at the number 17 spot today.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Coming into our number 16 spot today, ladies and gentlemen, we have got 5. And before I get into discussing 5, ladies,
this one is tough. I mean, literally, if you have any zombies behind you here, you're so cooked.
Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to make a quick disclaimer that all these rankings are just my own opinion.
No, I agree
and there is
with
little
them,
to no objective basis that I use when ranking them. So anyway, on to 5.
I would say the only difference I'd probably make is putting Moon last, just because you have to cycle it with Speed Cola as well. That just makes it awful, you know.
In my opinion, one of the most unassuming Juggernog locations of all time. At face value, this Juggernog spot seems pretty good. I mean, it is on the middle floor of the map, which is where you know.
I mean, you know it's bad when Mule Kick is right next to it and it's in a better position than Jug. Like the only time that Jug spot will be good is if the Pack Punch room is open, right?
Only train, and it's also kind of on the pathway that you use when training. However, this Juggernog spot is one of the most responsible for my most downs when buying Juggernog in all of zombies. And that's because of the fact that it's kind of in this little cutout in the wall where the doors to Pack-a-Punch normally open as you're coming out. And because of that, you kind of...
It doesn't even look like it should be there. You know, it looks like they should have designed another spot. Like, it looks like Mule Kick and Jug should have alternated spots, you know?
Have to go into this little cutout to buy Juggernog. And in here, it is unbelievably easy to get trapped by zombies. All it takes is for one zombie to come in at the wrong time and you're absolutely done for.
Especially on the BO1 2-hit system. Like, granted, on Classified, I know Juggernog isn't there, but the perk machines are better spaced out.
There is no escape route, and obviously there is no decent wonder weapon on 5 that will get you out of trouble. It's just so frustrating because it just gets me every time I play this map. And so because of that, I have decided to put 5 at the number 16 spot.
Yeah, it's a tough spot.
Coming into our number 15 spot, we have got Forsaken. Now, funnily enough, I nearly decided not to include this map.
It's so funny with Cold War, right? Because I've said this before in other videos. I barely remember where any of the perk machines are in these maps. But the thing is that Wonder Fizz just solves everything in this map. I don't even know where Jug is on this map.
On this list because I just hate it that much. And anyway, with this Juggernog location, it is in the first area that you teleport to after spawn. Which I suppose you could say is kind of good. And also the fact, again, that with Cold War, you do not need to turn on the power to access Juggernog. Which I suppose that you have to give it a little bit of credit for that. And the area itself isn't too bad. I mean, you could maybe go down if you're not careful, but I mean, if you're careful enough, you'll be fine. Who
really spends time in this area of Forsaken, though? Like, that's the thing. Because the Wonder Fizz is so easy to access, like, nobody's really going to Jug here, you know?
The main reason I just don't like this is just because of Forsaken's layout itself.
Yeah,
I just really dislike the way this map is stringed together with teleporters. I think it's absolutely diabolical.
It's garbage.
And just makes for not a fun time
at all. It's just boring.
And so I always find it a pain to have to go around and, you know, buy Juggernog again or really do...
It's literally 5 rooms in the campaign stapled together with teleporters. Like, I like the fact that it's using zip lines from Mauer, but I think Mauer Toten still does it better.
Anything in the map. And really, Forsaken at the number 15 spot.
Like, how does Tombstone have a better spot than Jug, man? Like,
just really, unfortunately, comes down to the layout of the map.
Yeah.
Coming into the number 14 spot on our list today, ladies and gentlemen, we have got Call of the Dead. Now, my first complaint with this Juggernog location
It's tough. And it's also, you need so much money just to get to the doors to Jug here. I agree. Call of the Dead's Jug spot is tough.
Is that it is so far away from just about anywhere else on the map.
Tough.
I mean, if it wasn't for Pack-a-Punch
that's why I love it, though.
Close to it, I would go as far to say that it is basically isolated from every other part of the map. I mean, there is seriously nothing else around here.
Like Mule Kick is
whenever
close
you
to
go
it,
down, it is always such a mission to have to go and buy Juggernog again.
True.
And my second complaint with this is that, again, it is such a tight and cramped space. And especially with having to wade through the water to
and then George Romero coming in, bro. Like, look at him.
There are so many times where you just get overwhelmed by zombies as you're trying to buy Juggernog here. And the only reason why it's not further down on the list is because it actually does have an escape option, where there is a door right next to it that you can open if you happen to get trapped as you're...
You can also jump over the zombies to jump into the ice water, but it's so tough. Like, this map is
if
hard.
it wasn't for that, Call of the Dead would
should be one of the
find
worst.
itself lower on the list.
And
Just
bad
because
Wonder
it's so
Weapons
far
too.
away, and the area that it is in is so cramped. But because it's got an escape
I still love
route,
you,
I feel
Call
like
of the Dead.
that at least bumps it up a couple spots on our list today.
What's going to be next, though? I feel like Shinonuma has to come out because, like, Shinonuma's just random, you know? I feel like that would be super infuriating.
Coming into the number 13 spot on our list today, we have got Kino der Toten. Easily one of the most notorious Juggernog locations on our list today. It's almost like the game is trying to set you up to be down by putting it here. And once again, it is right in the corner of this little pocket.
And the only thing that's next to it is a Bowie knife. Like, past round 9, you're cooked.
Stage area. And I have had so many downs and game overs in this area. It is not funny. And yet again, there is absolutely no escape option if you happen to get trapped, which is more often than not.
Like, that's the funniest thing. The only thing close to it is a Bowie knife, but it's more expensive than Jug. So unless you have like 6,000 points, don't even bother, you know?
I'm saying that if it wasn't for the fact that it's in this corner, it would be one of the best Juggernog locations of all time. Just because it's so close to all the relevant parts of the map. I mean, you've got the stage nearby. You've got the fire trap pretty close.
I would say the perks in Kino are very well positioned. Like, even, it's not even just Jug. Like, all of them have that risk reward. Like, double taps in the closed quarter alleyway. And then you got Speed Cola as well. That's in a really tough spot to get. All of them, I would say, apart from, like, Quick Revive, you know?
You've got the spawn room pretty close as well. And so it is in a pretty decent spot on the map. But because it's in this tight corner, that's what holds it back from being any higher on our list.
And I mean, you do need
Coming into the number 12 spot on our list today, we have got Origins. I was wondering. I would personally think this one is worse. I've down way more times getting Jug on Origins than in Kino. Now, first of all, I just want to start off by saying that it is in a great spot overall on the map.
It's near the mound,
central.
So
it's pretty close to the excavation.
But the fact you need Gen 4 on as well, and if you get Templars there, it's so bad.
And it's also right next to the wind tunnel, which is normally the tunnel that you often find yourself using the most. So overall, great location, but the specific corner that it's in itself at Gen 4 is probably the Juggernog location that is the most responsible for downing me.
Bro, if it was in Gen 3 area, like right here, that would have been awful.
So I'm trying to buy it. I mean, because it doesn't look that dodgy at first glance, but even as you're buying Juggernog, all it takes is for one zombie to trap you in there, and you're absolutely finished.
You're dead.
And again, I don't know why they have to put Juggernog in these
They want you to suffer.
Corridors.
That's why.
It really does just feel like a trap sometimes. And it's so frustrating as well, because it just gets me every time.
If there's even one zombie behind you, you're cooked. Like, you can't just do the Templars and then just go right and get Jug. You literally have to circle them around.
And so when you balance those two things out, I think that ends up with Origins being somewhere around the middle of our list.
It's
all right, coming into the 11th spot on our list today, we have got Darice. Now, the only reason Darice finds itself this high on our list is because this Juggernog location is possibly the most iconic in all of zombies.
I agree, and you need a ton of points to get to there, but also in the Giant, I would say it's even worse because it's just randomized. Sometimes you get lucky, you get a good spot, and most of the times no. So,
but other than that, this Juggernog location has got absolutely nothing going for it. Once again, it is in such a cramped spot There is absolutely no escape route.
You do have bouncing Bettys though. So if you're in like a co-op game, you can have people plant the Bettys all around there and then you'll be able to make it. So that's pretty good.
Any zombies happen to come in. And second of all, if
but
you're
it's got two barriers
and happen
though.
to go down,
that's the issue.
Is quite the mission to have to go and buy a Juggernog again. Because most likely what you're going to be doing with your mates is camping up on the catwalk or in that sort of area of the map. And if you go down, you've got to go all the way down and around, back up, across the bridge, and into that little corridor.
Yeah, or just go to the other side. But the thing is like most people don't go through the left side of spawn from Darice. That's why most people would rather just go all the way around, like over where double tap is and all that.
Juggernog is located probably the most furthest away spot on the map from the catwalk. And so ultimately, if it wasn't for just how iconic this Juggernog location is, Darice would be much further down on the list.
I agree. Darice also set that tone of
coming into the number 10 spot, and quite literally middle of our list,
Kino?
We have got the map Verac. Now, first of all, Juggernog on this map is located in quite an iconic spot.
See, it doesn't matter where Jug would be on this map, it's still bad because Verac is just so close quarters.
Being in one of two spawn rooms that are on this map, so it's
at
got
least
that
it's
going
in the better
for it.
side,
and the location on the map itself isn't really the greatest or the worst.
I think the issue is that it's completely polar opposite to where power and the mystery box is, which makes it very difficult for you to manage your points while staying alive, getting from one side of the map to the other.
I mean, it is quite far from the power / mystery box area of the map, but as the map itself is quite small, and often when you're training, you are running around the whole map, it's never really too far away. True. And the location itself is a little prone to getting trapped, but because
it's definitely better than other maps for sure. Like I would say Verac definitely did it all right, introducing Juggernog in a semi-safe location.
There's two entries and exits. You can kind of just go in one and come out the other without too much hassle. So overall, Verac, it's not the greatest. It's not the worst. It is quite literally just an average Juggernog location. And in the end, it finds itself at our number 10 spot.
But you can see how it alluded to those later spots like Origins and Kino, you know?
Into the number 9 spot on our list today, we have got Firebase.
I don't even remember where Jug is here.
Now, once again, this is very much just an average Juggernog spot. I mean, the location within the map is pretty okay. When I play this map normally, I will usually find myself training / camping in the spawn area. So if I go down, Juggernog is kind of on the opposite end of the map, but because
I just find like, why ever go to the spot unless you're getting like some defense round, you know? I also find it weird that Jug is like next to the staircase and not in the back room, making it really difficult to get.
Again, the map is not that big. It's not too much of a hassle.
Yeah.
And
also
Juggernog on this map is right next to one of the power locations, which is super handy because normally once you've completed the power ritual thing, you have enough points to grab Juggernog, so that's always handy. And the Juggernog area itself is kind of cramped, but once again, it's
at least got room for you to maneuver about. And also Cold War does give you a lot of breaks with the zombies, so it's never that big of an issue, you know?
A closed off corner like some of the lower spots on our list. So it's just okay, but with it being so close to one of the power spots, I think it at least deserves to be in the number 9 spot.
Yeah, it's usually the first power spot you do on Firebase. I mean, granted, I haven't played Firebase
into the number 8 spot on our list today, we have got Mauer.
Hey, let's go.
Now, the location...
I agree. Mauer's way better. There's so much room where Jug is. Like, you have a ton of room in this area.
Of Juggernog on this map is kind of the opposite to Firebase Z. And the fact that it's not really all that close to power at all. However, it is much, much closer to where I normally train / camp on the map, which personally I value just a little bit more.
I mean, most people camp in that bedroom where you get the Cerberus from the vault.
But the area that Juggernog is located in is quite similar to Firebase Z. It's very cramped, although it has got multiple ways in, and
there's at least multiple exits. I mean, with Firebase, you're just kind of next to a stairwell.
At least has a rappel system nearby in case you get into a little bit of trouble. So overall, just a little bit better than Firebase Z, and that's why what puts it in at the number 8 spot.
Okay.
Coming into our...
he better not put Shinonuma up here, bro. I feel like if he, maybe he forgot it, but Shinonuma I put near the bottom, man. That spot is just, number one, it's random. And number two, it can literally make or break your game if you're going for a really high round. You want to keep all the doors closed.
Our number 7 spot on our list today, we have got Ascension.
Ascensions
and this map is
man.
Placed this high for one reason and one reason only.
Because
the location and area of Juggernog within the map is a complete nightmare.
It is.
Because once again, we have got
you have to either keep the bottom door closed right here where Quick Revive is, or the top door. Most people keep the top door closed and then defend Quick Revive and Jug at the same time.
Another very tight corridor leading up to Juggernog.
It's tough.
And absolutely no escape options at all in the actual Juggernog spot in case you happen to get trapped. And also, this spot is...
And it also encourages you to not open both doors. I would even put this like near the back of the list. Like this spot is kind of awful.
Miles away from where you will normally train or be camping on the map.
Exactly.
But the reason why it's so far away is kind of a byproduct of what makes it actually really decent. And what makes it really decent is that by accessing this Juggernog spot through this door next to Quick Revive makes it perfect for defending both Quick Revive and Juggernog on the monkey rounds. Because if you access Juggernog from the door on the other side...
I wish this map had like an upgraded version of claymores, you know, kind of like how Shangri-La had the spike mores, so you could like set them up for where the monkeys were going. It sucks that on solo you can only ever have like 2 claymores at a time. I mean, you can preset them up, but most of the time the zombies will just run into them and blow them up. So I wish they had something better suited for the monkeys on this map.
It is virtually impossible to defend both Quick Revive and Juggernog on the same round. But by opening this door next to Quick Revive, you can defend both and basically ensure that the monkeys at least never touch the 2 most crucial perks in solo. And for that reason, I believe Ascension deserves the number 7 spot.
Yeah, it's
coming into the number 6 spot on our list today. We have got Zetabo no Shima. Now this...
Yeah, Zetsubo's Jug spot is actually really nice. Like, it rewards you for doing the power and then literally gives you Juggernog immediately. I think people give Zetsubo too much flack, specifically because, like, the bunker part is a lot for a new player to figure out. But still, I mean, you get Jug and Power pretty much for free after that.
So, is the very definition of just a decent Juggernog spot. First of all, it is in a very central spot in terms of the map, as it is right next to the entrance to the bunker.
Could you imagine if it was put, like, at the bottom of where you have to swim to get, like, the plant parts and stuff? Oh my gosh. If it was there, this map would be so bad,
bunker,
you know?
Which is very handy when you consider the sheer size of Zetsubo. And the fact that, personally, I typically train either right outside the bunker or I camp just down through the elevator in this sort of boss fight corridor, which is great because it always means that Juggernog is nearby. And the spot itself can be a bit tricky. I mean, if you're not quick enough, you can definitely get trapped, but at the same time, it is very avoidable if you are careful enough. And overall, the Zetsubo Juggernog is in a very solid spot.
I'd agree. It's probably one of the best risk rewards in COD Zombies. Like, who would have thought?
Coming into the number 5 spot on our list, ladies and gentlemen, we have got Mob of the Dead.
I've died so many times
this
here,
Juggernog location just because of the setting of it.
I agree. I mean, it is literally at the polar opposite part of where you spawn. Like, from spawn to docks, this is insane. However, it just sucks that there's such an expensive door next to Jug on this spot. It's 2,000 points. So unless you have literally almost 5k points, you're cooked if you get trapped next to Jug.
I mean, it's got to be one of the most iconic Juggernog
and then
spots
the Warden could lock it too.
I just love the process of getting to Juggernog on Mob of the Dead.
It's a good process,
hopping on the gondola, descending down to the docks, and just getting a great view of Alcatraz.
A lot of good stuff is near Juggernog on Mob as well, like the M1927. You know, you have all the shield buildable parts as well. So there's a lot of good rewards here.
It just really sets the scene of the map so well. And there really isn't anything else like it in Zombies. But however, if it wasn't because of that, this location would also be a lot lower on our list. And that is because the docks area itself is pretty irrelevant after the setting up process is done. And so you really never have to go back there ever again. And so if you happen to go down, having to go all the...
I mean, it's funny because Blood of the Dead actually fixed that, but in a way, it did it in just the worst possible way because you have to come to the docks so many times for certain Easter egg steps. Yeah, I just hate it.
The way back down there just to get Jug can be a little bit of a pain. And also the area, again, where Juggernog is located in, you are very, very prone to getting cornered or trapped in there. However, it does have a bit of an escape option with that door, although it does cost 2,000 points for some reason. I don't know why it's so expensive, but I guess I'd rather it be there than not. But overall, I think, honestly, that all that is overridden just by how iconic this location is.
I mean, the nicest part as well is, like, in solo, you're probably at least going to have 1 or 2 afterlives left after you turn on the jug machine. So at least you aren't getting an immediate game over. So yeah, definitely.
And like I said, I just love the setting of it. And so ultimately, that's why I put Mob of the Dead at the number 5 spot.
Respect.
Coming into the number 4 spot on our
list
today,
D-Machine? Looks like D-Machine.
D-Machine.
Yeah.
Easily one of the most solid Juggernog spots.
I mean, it's literally out in the open. If you die getting Jug at D-Machine, I've done it.
On our list today it's very central on the map, which also, when considering that it is right on the pathway to power and that you do not even have to turn on power to be able to buy this, which I believe is a bit of a problem, but I'm not going to get into it. Although in terms of this video, it definitely makes the spot even better. I mean, you can just buy Juggernog as you're going to power.
And that plane wing helps so much. Like, you can buy Jug, go up to the plane wing, and have so much time to finish the drinking animation. Like, yeah, this is definitely one of the best spots. And you know that they wanted to make it good because Black Ops 4 didn't have Jug. So
and it makes so much sense. Enough points to do so anyway. So overall, the location on the map is easily one of the best, if not the best. And also the area itself is quite open too. So it's not like you're really going to get trapped or go down as you're buying Juggernog, which is obviously great.
Unless there's like a megaton or you're like past round 55 where the zombies are going freaking super speed, then you should be all right.
Right. And just overall, it's just a
I will say it does kind of suck, though, because most of the time people just go to the Wonder Fizz on D-Machine, right? Like, they just stick up near the top of Noct, so.
Very well-rounded spot, and that's why it secures the number 4 spot on our list today.
Yep.
And coming into the number 3 spot on our list, we have got Revelations.
Okay.
Great Juggernog location.
I like it because it honors Noct. It puts it in the middle, the heart of the map. Like, I agree. You always come to this point of the map when you're playing Revelations, either for Pack-a-Punch, for Easter egg steps, for the shield.
Because of the way that Revelations is laid out and the fact that Juggernog is located in the central Nocturne area, it is never too far away from wherever you are on the map. And also, it is accessible straight away after you do the spawn room ritual.
Yeah, you can literally get to Jug round 1, which is really cool.
I mean, you could argue whether or not that's overall good, but in terms of this video, it certainly is.
It's funny how, like, on Moon, you can get to round 1, but it's a bad version because it cycles with Speed Cola. But here, you can do the same thing. And it's just because of its placement that makes it so good.
And also, it is located right next to the shield buildable table, which is great because normally when you go down, you also lose your shield.
Yeah, so it's all about health.
You can just do both at the same time.
Literally.
And it's also right next to Pack-a-Punch as well. So it's in a very relevant spot. And the area itself, I mean, you could potentially get trapped there if you're not careful enough, but it's certainly not.
I've never had that, especially as well because the shield on this map is the Garrod Crovey shield. Like, you can just whip out your shield and get out of almost any situation. You have the Apothicon Servant, the Thunder Gun. I mean, yeah, I think that all benefits to how amazing the Jug spot is on this map.
Not as bad as some of the other spots on our list. And overall, I don't think that comes anywhere near to overriding just how good the spot is on the map.
Of course,
so, because of all that, Revelations comes in at the number 3 spot.
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely
one of the best. Coming into the number 2 spot on our list today, we have got Der Eisendrache.
Der Eisen,
now, first of all, I absolutely love the fact that you can see this Juggernog spot.
Yeah, I would say this is the best Jug spot just for building up ambience and for being like, oh my gosh, Jug is right at the spawn, but it's literally a whole ways away. You have to go through the entire map to get to power and then get it through. I would say DE is definitely one of the best because of that.
From the spawn room, it is such a tease because even though it is right there, you've got to go all the way around the map just to be able to access it, which I think is pretty awesome. But overall, this
But while you're going there, you can also get all the pack-punch parts. You can get the other perks as well. In my opinion, DE's Jug spot literally encourages the player to get better at the game and to learn all of the other perk locations as well. That is like the genius behind it.
Juggernog spot kind of owes it to just how well Der Eisendrache is laid out. I mean, even though the map itself is fairly big, you never feel like you're too far away from anything.
And I think that's also because of the way the fast travel is so well done on this map. Like, in my opinion, after Der Eisendrache, they really didn't do a good job with fast travel, especially in maps like Zetabo or even GK. Like, GK can take a really long time. I like the wings, though, on GK, so that is good. But yeah, I agree. DE really nailed it.
And so, no matter where Juggernog is on this map, I feel like it would never really be a bad spot. But speaking of this Juggernog location, it's in a pretty decent spot. I mean, it's near the teleporter, it's near the bow area, it's near that 115 thing that launches
near Gobblegum machines.
Courtyard. It's near the Wonder Sphere landing spot in the spawn room. But most importantly, it is right near Quick Revive.
And it's still a tough spot as well to get Jug. Like, if you're bringing a ton of zombies in there, you're not going to make it out.
Which is great, because it means if you go down, you can just go get Quick Revive and Juggernog all in one go, as they're so close to each other. My only critique for this location is that you can get trapped here pretty easily if you are not careful. There is no...
I'm assuming he hasn't rated Shinonuma. Like I said, I would put Shinonuma way at the back because, again, it's a random spot. It's probably one of the worst locations, hands down. I'm curious what number one's going to be. Is it going to be Shadows?
Escape route. It is
no way.
Right in the
Shadows
corner
is also
of this
random
tight little
too.
Corridor. But ultimately, that does not
Shadows.
take away enough to prevent Der Eisendrache from securing the number 2 spot.
Yeah.
And finally, ladies and gentlemen, the moment we've all been waiting
Buried?
for, coming in at our number 1 spot, we have got Buried.
You know, I do agree with this. However, though, it is interesting. He did include Shadows and Shinonuma because they're randomized spots. And I would agree. Those honestly suck. Like, Shadows is kind of bad because you have to do so much just to get to one Jug spot.
Absolute classic.
But Buried here, this fixes what Transit did wrong. You use Leroy, and you can get literally as much points from breaking the door where Jug is with Leroy to get Jug just immediately. I think, again, Buried is such an underrated map. The mechanics of this map make it so it is the best Jug location. I mean, it's literally the spot where you get to round 100, you know?
Juggernog location. One of the best. The first thing I want to cover is the location on the map itself, which is absolutely perfect. It is right really near the mystery box. It is near Leroy's cage. It is fairly close to the bank and where all the wall gun...
You can use the paralyzer as well to go up the floor to the second floor to where these houses are. It's genuinely a genius spot.
Because it's not too far from the saloon and the candy shop. Just overall solid spot. But the main reason why this comes in at the number 1 spot is the Juggernog location itself. And while yes, first of all, it is a tight corridor, there is no escape route, so you could in theory get trapped, but that...
The nicest part though is if you have monkey bombs and you do get trapped, you can throw it out by Jug and then still escape. You get that much time with one monkey bomb. So
it is completely overridden by the fact that this Juggernog location provides you with one of the best camping spots in all of zombies. I mean, it's a long, 100%. Narrow corridor where the zombies just file in perfectly.
Like, people go here to camp for the perma perks and getting the SVU and getting a ton of points for the bank. It is literally one of the most iconic camping spots ever.
Can't spawn behind you or beside you, which is just absolutely perfect for camping. And I also love the fact that the most doors that you will have to open to access this Juggernog location is 1. And that's because of the fact that you have to use Leroy.
And you get paid for it as well. That's the greatest part. Like, they cooked with Buried, man.
To break down the barrier that's in between you and the Juggernog spot. And so in theory, if you want to access this Juggernog location, all you have to do is drop down, open up Leroy, open up the saloon, grab the booze and get him to smash the Juggernog location, and it's right there. It's absolutely perfect, and it provides you with a great camping spot. And so ultimately, when you consider all that, I don't feel like there is a
I would definitely say it's at least top 3, if not the best, just because of the Leroy mechanics as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you guys go and check out my man XD. He is absolutely killing it with the content. I love to see some new zombie YouTubers. If you guys have any other new zombie YouTubers you'd like me to react to, let me know and I'll ask them if it is all right. But ladies and gentlemen, God bless, and I'll see y'all in that next one.